Bangkaan, Naik, Cavite. People in this barangay live on their meager income from fishing and selling of fish. But they get very little fish catch from the sea. As such, they earn a very small income and can barely respond to their family's needs. Many families were not able to offer their children decent food on their tables. The children suffered much. They grew hungry.
It was in 1980 when I arrived in this place. I was touched by the children na nakita yung kanilang physical situation. Imagine, pupunta ako sa mga bahay, ulam may patis. Yung patis mismo nagawa nila, malnourished, and kung tingnan mo talaga sila. Actually, ang iniisip muna namin sa simula, feeding lang, ganoong kababaw yung aming pagtanaw. Yun yung guiding point na naghahanap ako ng malalapitan. And it was in my reading doon sa library namin sa seminary, nababasa ko yung World Vision Philippines.
In 1981, as part of their outreach activity to the community, the Bangkaan Christian Church and some of its founding officers decided to act. They sought the help of World Vision International, an organization which caters to the needs of children. They mobilized the community to address their pressing concerns, especially those related to the malnutrition problem among the children of Bangkaan.
So before, ang kapartner ng World Vision noon ay ang Bangkaan Christian Church, headed by Pastor Dagasdas. Ang World Vision ay nag-support sa church tungkol dun sa mga Christian education activities. And even the children ay nagkakaroon ng mga Bible studies, Sunday school. Yung mga church leaders ay nagkakaroon ng quarterly meeting or quarterly sharing because of the call of the church. Nakikita nila yung ministry na ito ay kinakailangan para talaga itong mga batang to ay ma-uplift yung kanilang economic condition, not only economic conditions, but the spiritual lives of the children and the families.
During the late 80s, when World Vision and Bangkaan Christian Church felt that the community was now ready for the responsibility of responding to their own needs, they transferred the management and leadership of the Shoreline project to the community leaders.
Nagkaroon kami ng mga meeting, yung mga board. Meron kaming mga church member as a board of governor. Tapos kumuha din ng mga sa community. So hindi solid na church members yun, as it is a community-based project.
People were encouraged to participate. Community leaders and volunteers were regularly invited to actively take part in all project activities, data gathering, planning, monitoring, and evaluation. Although the people in the community received very little education, they were able to share their hopes, dreams, and visions through illustrations and drawings. They were able to formulate their vision, mission, goals, and direction for the people of Bangkaan. They now call their organization the Shoreline Kabalikat sa Kaunlaran Incorporated.
Noong mga 1984, hiningi ng Shoreline na maging independent sila, na hihiwalay sila sa church, na bigyan sila ng kalayaan para sila na talagang totally mag-operate. Wala namang pagbabago, pabigyan sila ng pagkakataon na talagang sila lahat ang gagawa ng kaluluwan. Naging partnership na nga lang ang simbahan.
The officers and members of the Shoreline Kabalikat sa Kaunlaran Incorporated formulated their constitution and bylaws, registered their organization with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and elected their first set of officers in 1991. As another sign of their newly found autonomy, they entered into a contract with World Vision, which they called the Stewardship Agreement for the project, the Shoreline Development Project 1.
You know, this stewardship of agreement is really a very important document to the partnership of World Vision and Shoreline Kabalikat. And World Vision does not enter into a partnership without a common vision with a partner. So one thing that is really anchoring World Vision and Shoreline Kabalikat is we have the same vision. And that vision is for the attainment of the fullness of life of the children, community, and also their families.
Their project used a holistic approach in project implementation to address the needs involved in the entire human development: health, education, Christian nurture, leadership development, conservation of the environment, and housing.
Napakarami po namin pagsubok na pinagdaanan. Siyempre, unang-una ay yung pag-identify din po ng mga leaders. Kailangan po namin may mamumuno. Isa rin pagsubok yung bang paano paiintindi sa mga tao yung kanilang pag-participate. Kailangan meron kami sariling pagsisikap at by our own means, paano kami magkikreate ng resources mismo doon sa loob ng Shoreline.
The project went very well. It was able to provide educational assistance to more children in the barangay. From 200 children in Bangkaan, assisted children went as high as 2,400 in 2004, covering 21 barangays. In 1991, the Shoreline Project felt the need to expand its ministry to the poor in Maragondon and Ternate and formed a new project. They called it Shoreline Development Project 2.
Yung Shoreline 2 project ay expansion project ng Shoreline 1. So yung Shoreline 1 is World Vision Australia, yung Shoreline 2 ay World Vision Japan, ang major funding agency na nagbibigay sa kanila ng suporta. Ibig sabihin, mas maraming community o mga bata ang nangangailangan, nag-expand siya ng area at saka ng number ng mga bata na tinutulungan.
From there, more development projects were created. There is the Land and Housing Project in partnership with Habitat for Humanity for 200 poor families. The establishment of Marine Sanctuary in partnership with Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement. School buildings in partnership with DEX and local government units, and many more. Although the Shoreline development projects went very well, the officers and members of the Kabalikat Sakaunlaran Incorporated also went through some difficulties during the project implementation. The project was only able to hire a very minimal number of social workers. In order to cover more areas with the same quality of targeted services among their constituents, they developed a pool of volunteer leaders from the community. The heroes of the project were ordinary women and men who had very little education, prestige, and power, but have very big hearts, which helped them in their tasks. Their accomplishments show that men and women who are poor and powerless could also be tapped and empowered to deliver quality community service.
Dati, lang ako eh. Wala pa akong kamalayan dito sa project. Nag-volunteer. Bilang volunteer leader ng aming area, ako yung isa sa gumagabay sa mga bata, nag-assist sa kung may mga meeting o activities sa aming area.
Dati po, napakamahiyain ko. Ngayon po, kahit kanino na ako makipag-usap, kaya ko na po. Natutuwa ako sa kanila sa mga paggawa po ng proposal. Umattend po ako sa mga leadership training.
Bali, actually po, hindi po ako naging sponsor child ng Shoreline. Kaya lang po yung lola ko, volunteer po siya sa Shoreline. Tapos po, pag dati nung maliit pa ako, pag may meeting, lagi niya ako sinasama. Yun, hanggang sa, yung dati ko pong teacher, sabi niya, malaki ka na, pwede ka nang magturo. So, doon po ako nag-umpisa na nagturo dun sa mga maliliit. Masaya po kasi, hindi lang po sila yung natuturuan ko, kahit ako sa sarili ko, may natututunan din po ako.
The commitment of these volunteer leaders yielded very encouraging results. They were able to cover more number of beneficiaries as the years went by. Coordination and networking with other government and non-government organizations proved to be a very overwhelming and intimidating task. But this did not stop the officers and members of the Shoreline Kabalikat Sakaunlaran Incorporated from seeking their assistance until they got breakthroughs. Today, they work closely with the local government units and other non-government organizations, including the church, in many community activities. It is like their dream coming true.
Simula pa po noong 1998, kakasama na po kami ng World Vision Shoreline sa ngalan ng CRM projects. Dahil nga po sa mga partnership na naisolong ng bawat isa, malaki po ang naitulong lalo na sa personal na kapasidad ko. Very cooperative naman sila at kung kaya naging malapit kami.
Masarap silang katrabaho, masisipag yan sila eh. Tsaka marami silang ideas, maganda silang katayap sa mga trabaho.
In the midst of all their accomplishments, the officers and members of Kabalikat sa Kaunlaran Incorporated attribute their accomplishments to the integration of the scriptures into all their project activities.
Bali yung sa kabataan, pinapati namin sa Sunday School. Tapos pagka summer, meron kaming tinatawag na Daily Vacation Bible School. Yung mga malalaki na merong mga prayer and devotion. Tapos sa mga malalaki, Bible study. At magkamisan, meron kaming tinatawag na family encounter.
Scripture-related activities led to the creation of a new breed of community leader who are God-fearing and who perform their responsibilities grounded in what the scriptures are preaching.
Napakalaki ng pagbabago kasi matagal na ako dito sa Shoreline. Kumbaga dahil sa natutunan ko na rito, sa tagal ng panahon, maraming nabago sa buhay namin, yung pananalangin bago kumain, tapos yung kababaan loob, tapos yung naging friendly ako lalo.
Shoreline, Kabalikat sa Kaunlaran Incorporated has hurdled the test of time, both organizationally and externally. Although they have accomplished more than what they envisioned, they still feel a need to do more to sustain their services. Today, they feel a sense of urgency in developing new leaders whose performance is also grounded on Christian values. They would like to sustain people's participation in all levels of their organization's programs and in the attainment of their mission, vision, and goals. They would like to invest in empowering the children and youth as future generations of community leaders. They foresee the need to develop advisory councils who could help them enhance their current capabilities.
Ito nga present, meron kaming annual medical and dental check-up, meron kaming clean and green na ginagawa. Para dun sa sustainability na pinopromote namin, yung medical savings scheme, isa yun sa makakatugon doon sa mga pangangailangan pagdating dun sa health.
Kung paano namin mapapalago ang kabuhayan, paano kami makakatulong sa mamamayan, miyembro ng Shoreline na kasapi. Nag-come up kami dito ng tindahan namin na kung saan ay kasalukuyan ang nagpapatakbo at gayon din meron din kami sa food processing. Ito yung unti-unti namin ginagawang pamamaraan na kung saan mawala man sa amin ang funding agency, ito yung makakasusin na. Hindi lang dito sa mga sinabing ito, siguro mas mag-isip pa kami ng mga pamamaraan na kung saan mas marami kaming matulungan.
In the face of all these challenges ahead, they maintain their complete trust in what they could become. They are now starting to develop other projects for funding. They are now investing in building the craft of the community leaders and members. And because they saw the important role of transformational development among their partners and beneficiaries, Shoreline, Kabalikat sa Kaunlaran Incorporated will continue to integrate scriptures into all levels of organizational activities. The future is certain. It promises a new day, a new hope, especially for people who are strongly driven and determined to deliver their mission and vision of new creation.